It's the end of July and we're heading into August, and so I think it must be time for a fairly quick homestead tour. Down in the pumpkin patch where we're also growing squashes, there's a section of raspberries there, and well, the plants are still very small and they're not really taking off at all, but I'm going to give them a bit longer. They've still got a good 10 to 12 weeks of growing, and a lot can happen in that time. Down here there is this little orange squash, and it's quite firm to touch already, so I'm tempted to harvest it to encourage it to grow some more. So the plants are still all fairly small, or they're starting to pick up in size, and they've got masses of powdery mildew. In case you don't know what it is, it's a white mildew, and it looks powdery, and it appears on the tops. I can't see any underneath, but it appears on the leaves of plants that are not getting enough moisture at their roots, and the simple answer for this is to water it more. And it's a really hard call because it's been raining so heavily that everything is just drenched, so I can't understand why these ones aren't getting enough water. Oh, hello Monty. It could be that they're under the outer branches of one of the damson trees, so that the water isn't getting to them, but the ground looks moist and it feels moist, so I'm not really sure quite what's going on here. But having said all of that, I think Monty is very nicely demonstrating that there is a squash there, and there's another little one coming there, and I have a feeling that that could be a spaghetti squash. And this one, well, it's got a tiny something. Who knows? That could be a pumpkin, or it could be one of many things. So we'll just have to wait and see. But we're just plodding along and keeping going with converting this bit of the field into a pumpkin patch, and it will come, and next year it should all be ready and prepared, and we can get the plants into the ground much sooner, and hopefully they'll romp away next year. Now in this bit of field at the end of Big White's enclosure, well, we use it for all sorts of things, but at the moment we have moved the meat birds into it, and as of yesterday we're letting them free range. So they've got the house, and they've got a bit of wind shelter, and they've got that run with the blue cover, well, just for a couple more hours because we're going to move that today, but they've been very happy to be able to wander out a little bit further than their run. Big White and his girls, yeah, they're all happy and healthy. The compost pile that was started, I'll have to look back, but maybe a week or 10 days ago it's looking pretty good. 2 or 3 weeks ago I planted some butternut squash in the top of my compost heaps, and it's worked beautifully last year. But this year, well, it's a different story. That's one of them, and there's another, and the two over here are the same. They've just been eaten away. Now there's always that risk that it's going to happen when you plant a plant in a compost heap, and the only thing I can think of to do is to put in some larger plants in there. So I have still got some more well-developed plants, and I'm going to pop those in, and fingers crossed that they don't get completely eaten as well. Now, I mentioned earlier that we had moved the Brahmas from the covered run out near the front garden, and they've been moved into the main flock now, and so they're doing their first day, which must always be a bit traumatic, and so they're discovering where the food is and the lie of the land. And I think they're going to love it here. One of the other things that I noticed yesterday that really pleased me was that the hedging plants that we put in, where are we? About 18 months ago now. It was really not very long after we first moved here, and they just went in and they were just like a single stick with no leaves on it or anything because it was winter, and I couldn't really see how they would turn into hedging plants, but they have. And those single sticks are now about 3 feet high. There are weeds in between, but I can live with that. And we've got, so this is a hawthorn, and this is either a dog rose or a wild rose, and there's a hazel tree, and that's doing very well. So there's lots of hawthorn. There's some willow which we'll cut back almost down to the ground, and then next year it will shoot up to the sky with even more branches, but they're about 7 or 8 feet high now. Oh, I've been joined by, hello, it's a Rhode Island red. Oh, she's very lovely. Yes, you are very lovely, darling. And then this little this little tree here. Now, it should be about about this tall and then some, and the other ones we planted at the same time are now over my head, whereas this one's not even waist high, and that's because we accidentally caught it with a strimmer last year. So that's like a weed whacker, and we caught the bark, and the main tree died off because it had been damaged, but it sent up shoots from below the damage, and now we've got almost a shrub rather than a tree, so I'm delighted with that. Elvis's flock are well, they're all hanging out in the stable because there's a bit of a breeze, and they're all being lightweights. Come on girls, out the way, let me through. There we go, good girls. What and boys. Hello beautiful. So yes, they're all hanging around in the stable. But through here on the nursery side, these are our 7 ducklings, and they are growing really well, and today they are moving outside, so they're a big step in the world. They're going to go out into a little house out there, and then the run, which at the moment is down with the meat birds, that'll be moved so that they've got a secure run. And the 4 little Jersey giant chicks that have been in that pen, well, they're pretty much due to go outside as well. I just need to go and check to see how old they are, but I think they're ready to go and enjoy some fresh air and some grass. And at the back of the piggeries, well, oh look, everyone's coming out now. Hello you lot. Do you think I've got something? So yes, out at the back of the piggeries, the beehive is right down the back there, and we haven't seen any problems down there. I'm still not going down and inspecting at close quarters because, well, I don't have a suit yet, but once I do, I'll go down and have a look properly, and I'll introduce you to our bees. So last stop on our tour today is the greenhouse, and we've started picking tomatoes, and they're coming really well, and we've also had a couple of cucumbers. So there's lots of tomatoes. Those are Brandywine black tomatoes, as are these. And then over here, and these are, oh, do you know what? I don't know what variety those are. They have got a label on them, but I can't reach it from here. So yes, lots of tomatoes all round, and even and some nice little plum tomatoes coming. And over in the corner up here I've got a cucumber, and it's very definitely producing cute cucumbers, and we've had a couple, we've eaten a couple already, but there are plenty more little tiddly cucumbers on their way. So that's it for today, and we've had a lovely weekend, and we're back to homesteading full time again now, and I'm just really enjoying it. So wherever you are in the world, and whatever you're up to today, I hope you enjoy it too, and I also hope you can join me again tomorrow.